I think Byron Murphy is about to be a wealthy man, and I'm excited for it because I think he reminds me so much of from a mental makeup standpoint. He reminds me so much of Casey Hampton and Roy Miller, two guys who were just they had their focus, they had their sights set on the target, and really productive NFL players, really productive players at Texas. Um, and Byron Murphy kind of reminds me a little bit of Earl Thomas from this standpoint that he had to wait his turn. Like Earl Thomas redshirted at Texas, and then he left after his third year and became a perennial all-pro safety because the guy had instincts like you can't believe and speed. I remember Lyle Senline, telling me when he was the center for the Arizona Cardinals and, they'd play the Seahawks, they would do everything they could to bait Earl Thomas to the wrong side of the field because his range was so good. He could make up for it and track it down. And, he only played really 2 seasons at Texas. Byron Murphy, kind of the same thing. Even though, he got reps. I'm not saying that. But his freshman year, he didn't get many reps. He did his sophomore year and certainly his junior year. So I think he could go up in this draft. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes higher than 16. And he's not gonna embarrass Texas if he's the highest Longhorn picked in this draft. Just saying.
Yeah, I agree. Byron Murphy, when it comes to the physique, all those things check every box that it should. When it comes to will and the heart, those boxes check. And then just ability as an interior lineman. That dude, of all the hype that T'Vondre Sweat got this year, like Byron Murphy definitely was like in the background dominating. Like his Pro Football Focus ranking is right there with any of the best defensive tackles in the nation and better than a lot of the defensive tackles in the nation. So, yeah, man, I think he's going to be a guy that lasts over a decade. And I'm excited. I'm excited that they put in all these guys into the draft. It's been a long time coming. And Byron Murphy being the first one taken off the board, if you would have asked me in September, October, I would have been like, what? How? Like, where are y'all seeing this? Like, it's obviously going to be, Xavier Worthy or T'Vondre Sweat. But, yeah, Byron Murphy's definitely making a name for himself, and I can't wait to see what he does at the Combine. I think he's going to wow some folks. Like, 18, 19 miles per hour that Hummer threw at us, like him clocking that this year, at that size, man, that ain't normal at all. Nothing normal about that. I'm 250. I'll probably clock in a smooth 6 miles per hour if I went outside right now and tried to run my fastest. Because all that weight, that's tough to carry when you're trying to get to point A to point B. And Byron Murphy, I think he's just gonna turn a ton of heads this weekend for a lot of GMs and head coaches and coordinators and whatnot to see how good this guy could really be, because it's only the beginning.
Yeah. So the schedule, you've got defensive linemen and linebackers. They're doing interviews tomorrow. And then they're doing on-field workouts Thursday at 2:00. And then on Friday, you've got DBs and tight ends doing on-field workouts. All of this televised on NFL Network, starting at 2:00. And then Saturday, you've got quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs doing on-field workouts at noon. And Sunday, you've got offensive linemen, special teams doing on-field workouts at noon. So you can, check out all the all the workouts really starting Thursday at 2:00, and that will be the defensive linemen, the linebackers. So for Texas, Byron Murphy, T'Vondre Sweat, and then Jaylan Ford, who did not take part in the Senior Bowl and is a guy who thought about coming out.
Why was that? I didn't even think about that.
He had a training injury that
Okay.
he didn't want to aggravate. So he decided to get rested up and ready to go for the combine. And he's an interesting story because he was a 3-star recruit. He was a last second take for Texas. And Jeff Choate, great job developing him. I mean, he's a smart player. Didn't have quite the season that he did in 2023 that he did in 2022, but he's fits the description. He's got the measurables. I bet he'll measure somewhere 6'3" and some change, and right around 235, 240, and he can run. So that's gonna help him. I'm hearing him projected 3rd, 4th round, so he could be a steal for somebody.
Yeah, I thought Pete Kwiatkowski had him on the field a little bit too much at times this season.
Yeah.
I get it. He's reliable. He's one of your top dogs. You want to have those guys in as much as possible, but to rotate the defensive line and rotate the secondary, but not rotate the linebacker core at times, which, you got to trust David Benda. You got to trust Ant Hill, Jet Bush, whenever he played it at times. And I don't think they did enough. Like if you're Jeff Choate, which off to Nevada, wish him the best, but going back to that Oklahoma game, like Jaylan Ford was gassed, man. That dude was absolutely gassed. That was one of his worst games of his career against OU. And, and I think he played every snap. Like he came in the next week and told the people like, yeah, I didn't come off the field. So I know all Texas fans.
He said it in the post game.
Yeah. He said in the post game? I thought he said it next week.
Right in front of Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah, like what are we doing? Yeah. Like, yo, Texas fans.
I played every snap.
Yeah, because everybody was wondering, yo, this ain't the same 41 that we're used to seeing. But when a guy's playing every single play, and it wasn't like it was a cool, brisk day in October, like it was a heater.
It was hot.
That was a hot one. You know what I'm saying? And the pace that Jeff Lebby, now Mississippi State coach, then Oklahoma State coordinator, the pace that they were going at with Dylan Gabriel, man, like they weren't allowing guys to sub in and out just because Oklahoma wasn't, but still, like give this guy a breather sometime. Like you got to see that, Pete Kwiatkowski. I know we're talking some old news here, but just going to Jaylan Ford production level in 2023 opposed to what it was in 2022. Like, I don't know if the Marvion Overshawn was the reason of that because he was so solid in 2022. I don't know, but I thought David Benda and Ant Hill deserved to get some of those reps. So you give Jaylan Ford a rest so he could be fresh and be at the best of his ability when he's on the field.
He played 82 snaps that day, and he had played 66 snaps at Alabama. That was at night. He played 64 snaps at Baylor. That was a game that started late in the afternoon, finished at night. And he played 75 snaps against K-State. And that was a little bit later in the season. But, those were – I mean, the Oklahoma game by far was his worst, like terrible.
It was bad.
His PFF rating for the season was 67, and his run defense rating was 81, which is really good. Against OU, his overall PFF rating was 31,
Mhm.
and his run defense rating was 61, and his pass coverage rating was 27.6. 70 is considered above average. So, yeah, I mean, he got targeted 10 times in the passing game against OU, gave up 8 receptions. Yeah, it was a tough day at the office.
Well, he
So,
wasn't even running guys down. Like, you could tell.
yeah.
Like, he was sucking wind, man. I remember us on the Texas Sports Unfiltered group chat saying the same thing. Like, oh, Jaylan Ford, all right? Is he sick? And there's something going around the team because this doesn't make any sense. And then, yeah, he got to that podium and said, yo, I played every snap. I don't think I came out the game. Look at that Stark. Look at that Choate. Looking at Pete Kwiatkowski like, yo, fellas, help me out. I get it. I'm good. I get it. I should have been Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year in 2022 where he still got absolutely hosed. I still feel bad for him with that. But damn, like, Ant Hill, he proved that he deserved some of those reps. Like, there were times where I'm like, yo, Ant Hill ain't on the field enough, which we won't be saying that at all this year, hopefully. But, yeah, that's, and we'll see what Johnny Nansen, how he goes about it. It's going to be a little different. It's still going to be Pete Kwiatkowski's system, but Johnny Nansen, that dude, we'll see what he brings to the table.
Yeah,